my name's Joelle and I'll be your yoga teacher today. If you've never done yoga before, don't worry, we're going to keep our practice really gentle. And I'll show you some modifications so that you can decide throughout what works best for you. Throughout the class, always ensure that you're listening to your body. If at any point you feel dizzy or if you feel pain, then please stop and speak to your doctor before continuing with the exercise. Also, always make sure that any vascular access points remain safe throughout the practice. You're welcome at any point to take a rest if necessary, but besides that, just relax, have fun, and enjoy the practice. And when you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. Welcome to our chair yoga practice, which we're going to do completely seated, perfect for those days where you don't feel like moving around a lot, you don't have a lot of energy, but you'd still like to find some healthy movement in the body. So start by sitting down on your chair. Take a moment to kind of settle in so that you feel evenly balanced. Roll the shoulders back and close the eyes. And let's find our breath here. So without any tension in the jaw, just ever so softly touching the lips together as we breathe in and out through the nose, creating this wave-like sound in the back of the throat. And let's take one more. Very nice. You can keep the eyes closed if you'd like, or blink them open. And we'll begin with a neck stretch, so very softly begin to bring the right ear towards the right shoulder, keeping both shoulders down and relaxed. And if you'd like a little bit more sensation, you could reach the fingertips of the left arm away. If that feels all right for you. You can even hold on to the chair, and you might even choose to rest the right hand on top of your left ear. And then using that right hand, let's gently bring the head back to center. And we'll try the other side. So left ear towards left shoulder, both shoulders still nicely relaxed. Reaching away with the right hand or holding the chair, and maybe just letting the weight of that left hand add on a little bit on top of your right ear. And then releasing that, using the hand to return the head once more to center. Very nice. Let's roll the shoulders back once more, and we'll take a tricep stretch. So start by reaching your right hand up as if you were giving somebody a high five, and then place that palm behind your shoulder blades. And you might just stay right there, or you could softly catch hold of it, of your elbow with your left hand. And just add that little bit of encouragement to feel a nice stretch on the back of the right arm and maybe into the shoulder as well. And then releasing, sweeping the arms back to your side, maybe giving those shoulders a little bit of a shake before we try our second side, reaching the left hand up, placing it behind you, and maybe you catch hold of that elbow. And I often find that this is a very different experience on one side compared to the other. So this might be different depending on whether you are right or left-handed. Might of course depend on whether you have vascular access. There's all types of factors, and it can just be something interesting to learn about ourselves. As we let that go, again, maybe you choose to give the shoulders a little shake, or even roll them back a few times. Maybe even sway a little bit from side to side. And then we'll bring the left foot towards the center of your chair and simply cross the right knee on top of the other. So just notice what that does to the body. Maybe you find that one sit bone starts to lift up a little bit. Maybe you find that you're leaning over to one side. We tend to sit like this quite a lot, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting. But we don't often notice what it's doing to the rest of our body. So it's worth now taking just that breath or two in and out, to give ourselves time to really shift into a balanced and central position. And then keeping the legs as they are, we'll take a gentle twist towards the right, so the left hand can hold on to the outside of your right knee, and you can start to twist from the waistline, looking over that right shoulder. Maybe you even choose to hook that arm behind the chair, if that feels appropriate. Thinking about every inhale, still lifting the crown of the head towards the sky. And maybe each exhale, you cast your gaze a little bit further over that back shoulder. So let's take one more breath here, inhaling to grow tall. Exhaling to twist. And then release that arm if you had hooked it over. Slowly bring the upper body back towards center. And you can keep the legs crossed as they are if you would like, or we can come to what we call a seated pigeon pose, which is where the ankle is over the knee. So you might need a little bit of time to kind of shift yourself into position here. And you could let your arms rest down at your side. Or another nice option I find is to rest one hand or maybe both on top of this right knee. So I'm not pressing down here, I'm just kind of tacking on that little bit of extra weight to see if that changes the sensation or the stretch in the right hip. And if you do find that you're perfectly fine in this position and you'd maybe even like a little bit more, you could even shift to turn the upper body towards that leg and maybe start to lean your way over. And it usually doesn't take very much for most of us to really start to get into that hip with a stretch like this one. Also really nice for sciatica, piriformis muscle, lower back. One of my favorite seated postures. So wherever you are, whether it's knee over knee, ankle over knee, whether or not you've chosen to fold a little bit more deeply today, all together, let's take 2 more deep breaths here, in and out. And then if you were folded over, use just that little bit of leverage with the hands to lift your way back up, coming back towards center and uncrossing really slowly to set back, second foot down on the ground. And rock it out a little bit here. Again, it's always nice, I find, to take a moment just to observe what's just happened. So we've opened pretty deeply in some cases into the right hip, not so much yet into the left. So you might be feeling something different in the lower spine, in the hip, maybe the outside of the leg. And we'll see what else we learn about ourselves on the second side. By shifting the right foot now into our center position, crossing left knee on top, settling in. And then perhaps we start to shift the upper body, going towards the left. So towards the direction where that leg is on top. And again, that might mean a gentle press against the knee with your other hand. It might mean resting or hooking the arm to the back of the chair. It might mean turning the head a little bit to look over that back shoulder. Wherever you are, think about releasing both shoulder blades down. We're not looking to create any tension here. I'm just looking to give the spine an opportunity to let something go. And again, let's find those 2 final breaths here, inhaling to grow tall. Exhale, maybe you twist that little bit further. And last breath in and out. Beautiful. Letting go of the back of the chair, ever so slowly, coming back towards center, choosing whether you'd like to stay here on this second side, or maybe finding that pigeon pose, helping the ankle over the knee now, and staying up tall, maybe resting one hand, maybe resting both hands onto the knee, and final option, turning towards it, and exhaling deeply to bring yourself over that leg. And more than just about any posture, this pigeon stretch tends to be one that we can experience very differently from one side to the next. For me, I feel more intensity on this second side. For you, perhaps it's the other way around. You might find that after a few breaths, the body starts to trust you to go that extra half an inch. You might conversely feel like you'd like to pull back, and that may be more appropriate for today. Final breath here. And then making our way back to center. Might have to help that ankle off and give those legs a little bit of a shake. Stepping it out. And then we'll bring one foot out to the side, hands holding the chair in front of you, other foot out to the side. So we're in what we call a supported goddess squat. So the feet are pointing out at a diagonal, the knees are tracking over the toes. There's a tendency for them to want to collapse in. So we're going to actively think about pressing them out, and this will really get our thighs working here. And then, again, closing the eyes and noticing what this does to the body, which parts of the body have to switch on and come alive in order to support us in this position. And I'd like you to reach your left arm towards the right with the palm facing up as the right arm reaches up and overhead. So finding length in the side body here. You can look straight in front of you. You can also turn the head maybe to look more up towards the ceiling. You choose. Feeling the length all the way down from that right hip, all the way into the fingertips, maybe even giving them a little wave. One final inhale just to reach a little bit further. And then exhale sweeps you back to center. Very nicely done. Rolling the shoulders back. And we'll bring the right hand palm face up on top of our left thigh. Reaching that left arm now up and over towards the right. Gazing forwards, maybe even closing the eyes. Or looking up underneath that top arm. Remember those knees still reaching towards the toes, not letting them fall in. Final inhale to reach, and exhale brings you back up. And then maybe with the help of the hands, stepping one foot in, stepping the other foot back in, rolling the shoulders back, letting the hands rest to the thighs. Close the eyes for a few final deep breaths here together. To answer the question, how do you feel? What have these few moments here in this chair meant to you? Perhaps any physical sensations coming up, perhaps even emotional ones as well. I hope you feel proud and confident and ready to face the rest of your day. Well done, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.